guys, welcome back to 12.4, multiplying binomials. Alright, there are two ways that we're going to demonstrate how to multiply binomials. So a binomial again, an expression with two terms times an expression with two terms. First method is going to be called the box method, second method is called FOIL. The box method is fine for right now, but you do want to familiarize yourself with FOIL because that's kind of the primary one you'll be using later on. But like I said, box method is fine for right now. We're going to jump straight down to example 1. Find the product of find the product of negative 2x plus 5 times 3x minus 1. And again, you only really use this method when you have a binomial times a binomial. Again, bi means 2, so a 2-term expression times a 2-term expression. As the name implies, if we're using the box method, you better believe you need a box. So draw out a 4-chambered box. So just a box that you then divide into fourths, like that. You're going to write your first expression on the top, your second expression down the side. Doesn't actually matter where you put it, but one has to go on top, one has to go on the bottom. Or not bottom, side. So we're going to put this one, first expression on the top, each one over top of its own box, so negative 2x. Here, 5. I'm going to rewrite my second term down the side, 3x, and a negative 1. Using your box, you're going to multiply each chamber. So here, I have negative 2 times 3. The top and the side, negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Remembering your exponent rules, x times x to the first, times x to the first, add your exponents together. It's going to be x squared. Let's go down. I have negative 2x times 1. Boom, boom. So negative 2 times negative 1 is going to be positive 2. Just tack your x on because there's no x here. Now I'm moving over here. I have 5 times 3x. So 3 times 5 is 15. There's no x here, so just tack on your x from right here. And now my last box, I have 5 and negative 1. 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. Alright, so now you're like, cool. I have a box of 4 numbers. What on earth do I do? Well, you're going to look for your like terms and you're going to string together an expression. Alright, so I have negative 6x squared. So write that out, negative 6x squared. Now I have 15x. It's a positive 15x, so I'm going to put a plus sign. Plus 15x. I have a 2x. It's positive, so I'm putting 2x plus 2x. Now I have a minus 5. It's negative, so just negative 5. Now I'm going to look for my like terms. I have a 15x and a 2x. They're like terms. Same variable being raised to the same exponent. So I'm going to string it all together. Just rewrite your negative 6x squared. It doesn't have a buddy, so it's not being added to anything. 15 plus 2 is 17x minus 5. That's my final answer. Now notice, when I added 15x and 2x, I did nothing to my exponent. Your exponent rules only matter when multiplying, not when adding. When adding, you just add your coefficients. Let's look at one more example of the box method together. We're going to look at, let's just do checkpoint number 1. Boop. We have 4x minus 1 times 2x plus 3. 2x plus 3. Alright, step 1, draw your box. Break it up into fourths. Take your first term, put each term above an individual box. So 4x and negative 1. Take your second term and put it by the vertical of each individual box. So 2x and 3. And now I'm going to multiply each term. So 2 times 4 is 8. X times x is x squared. Now I'm going to do negative 1 times 2x. Negative 1 times 2 is going to be negative 2. There's no x, so I'm just going to tack on this x. Now I'm going to do 4x times 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Tack on your x. Last one, 3 times negative 1 is going to be negative 3. Now you have your box full of numbers. String it together. Start with your highest exponent. Go to your lowest. My highest exponent is 8x squared. Then I have negative 2x plus 12x minus 3x. And I know if I put a plus or a subtraction sign just based off of the sign of the number. And now I'm going to look for like terms. I have nothing raised to x squared, so 8x is just getting rewritten. But I have like terms with my x values, so negative 2 plus 12 is going to be 10x minus 3. And now I've multiplied my binomials. And again, remember, when it's adding and subtracting, there are no exponent rules. Exponent rules only come into play when we are multiplying. So that's the box method. And now we're going to do something called the distributive property as it applies in something called FOIL. And FOIL is an acronym. So distributive property. Another way to multiply binomials is to use the distributive property. Skipping example 2 and going down, FOIL method. Notice that using the distributive property to multiply binomials produces 4 products that are then added together. These 4 products are the products of the first term, the outer term, the inner term, and the last term of the binomials. You can use the shorthand FOIL to remember, to remind you of the words first, outer, inner, last. Alright, what on earth does that mean? We will look at example 3 and walk through it slowly. So again, we're still just multiplying 2 binomials together. First option is to use the box. Second option is to use something called FOIL, which is going to be vertical multiplication following a specific order. First, outer, inner, last. Example 3. So for example 3, we have 4x plus 3 times 5x minus 2. And FOIL, again, is a fancy way of saying use the distributive property. You have to distribute everything in your first term by everything in your second term. So you're going to take 4x and you're going to multiply it by 5x. Notice, it's our first terms being multiplied together. FOIL, multiply your first terms together. 4x times 5x. So 4x times 5x. Then our next one is O, multiply our outer terms together. The outer of our 2 terms, 4x times 2x. The outer of our terms. So now we have 4x times negative 2. We've done our O. And now we've multiplied 4x by everything in our second term. We're going to repeat the distributive property now for our 3. 3 has to go to everything in our second term. Everything has to be multiplied by everything. But if you notice, if we do 3 times 5x, 3 times 5x, we're doing our inner terms. Our 2 innermost terms are being multiplied together. That's our I in FOIL. And now L represents our last terms, the last terms in our individual expression. 3 times 2, that's our last piece of the distribution. So plus 3 times negative 2. String it together and multiply it out. 4 times 5 is 20. X times x is x squared. Plus 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. There's no second x, so we just tack on that first x. Plus 3 times 5 is 15. Only one x, so we tack it on. Plus 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Remember what I read above said you're going to get 4 products. Same thing as when you do your box. You end up with 4 numbers inside your box. Add your like terms together. There's no like term to x squared, so just rewrite 20 x squared plus negative 8 plus 15, 8, negative 8 plus 15 is negative 7, x, boom, minus 6. We have used FOIL to multiply through the distributive property everything and simplify our expression to 20x squared plus negative 7x minus 6. We'll do another example. And just remember, FOIL means first terms get multiplied. O, outer terms get multiplied. I, inner terms get multiplied. L means our last terms get multiplied. So it's just a handy acronym. We'll do one of your checkpoints. Let's look at checkpoint number 1, or I guess in this case 7. We have x plus 5 times x minus 9. And you can think of it in 2 ways. Do your distributive factor for x to everything inside the second thing. Do the distributive factor for 5 to everything on the inside of your second one. And it'll just work out to be FOIL. So if you do boom, boom, you've done your first steps. Your first terms, and then your outer terms. Repeat with 5 to everything on the inside. First terms, last terms. You finished FOIL. But slowly, our first terms get multiplied. So x times x plus O are outer terms, x times negative 9. We've now distributed an x to everything on the inside of our second set of parentheses. Now we have to distribute 5 to everything on the second set of parentheses. And that brings us to I. Bring our inner terms together, 5 times x, plus our last terms, 5 times negative 9. Multiply your string together. X times x is x squared, plus x times negative 9 is just going to be negative 9x, plus 5 times x is 5x, plus 5 times negative 9 is negative 45. Add your like terms. X squared plus negative 9 plus 5 is going to be negative 4x, then just plus 45. There are no other like terms to add there. So we've simplified our expression using FOIL. First, outer, inner, last. Or alternatively, you can just think about it as doing your distributive factor or distributive property twice. First for your x, and then repeat it again for your 5. Both are the same, and you can choose between the box method and FOIL. Both will produce the same answers. All right, you are good and ready to start your homework. Good work.